So there's loads of stories I could tell you but they could be dismissed as coincidence. I'm going to tell you a weirder story. Okay. So I'm at the hospital in Washi, in India, and it was the morning meditation, and I don't often meditate well, you know, so I'm not going to pretend I'm a great meditator. I'm not. So I thought I'll just sit here as if, like, you know, you're waiting to do Mother's Puja, you know, and I thought I'll sit here for 6 hours if I have to. Eventually I'll get into meditation. And I sat there, and I didn't go into meditation, but the most weirdest thing happened. I was at loggerheads with two kids. I was teaching at a special school, and these two kids were about, and what I'm going to say is not very pleasant actually, but they're about 9 and 10, or both 9 or whatever, 9 and 8, somewhere around that. And I don't often dislike kids, but I actually really dislike these kids. They were horrible, nasty, you know, fighting with everybody, gave me no end of grief, and you know, kicked off all the time. I really didn't like them, but I wasn't thinking about them. And suddenly, my heart turned into a womb. Seriously, I've never experienced it since. And I'll tell you how it came about, but I felt these two kids in my heart, and it didn't feel like my heart, it felt like a womb, and it was going like that, like sloshing. I could feel it sloshing and blood going around these two kids. I thought, what's this about? And I just went with it, and I didn't think anything of it, but I told you actually, Philippa, didn't I? I was staggered by it, you know, when I came out. I thought, oh my God, you know, that was an amazing experience. And then I just let it go, you know, didn't think much of it. And I wasn't in a meditative mood. That happened, you know, it was happening, and I was observing it as if you were having a cup of tea or something. So then the time went by, and when I went back to England, I went back to the school, and something really, really weird happened. This kid that I absolutely detested saw me in the hall, and he ran across the hall and he jumped into my arms. And the same thing happened more or less with the other kid. He didn't jump into my arms, but when he saw me, he said, oh, sir, came and gave me a big hug and a big cuddle and all that. And I was like, oh my God, what's happened here? You know, and I just hadn't a clue, you know, what had happened between me in India and this kid in England. But something had happened that had melted them, you know, or purified them in some way. And interestingly, I don't know if anybody recalls this, but Derek once gave us a talk where he said, oh, I'm a lecturer mother and I have all these people in. How could I give them realisation? And she said, take them into your heart. And actually, I tried to do that while I was teaching on a mental level. So actually what Mother was showing me was, this is not a mental thing, you know, like I'd be going, oh, I put you into a heart. You know, you know, all that kind of mental rubbish. But this was a reality, you know, they were in my, I could actually visualise them, and I wasn't visualising them, they were. And I could feel this thing going on, and this is what happened to them in reality, not some kind of fantasy. This is what happened, that he ran across the hall and jumped into my arms, and the other one said, oh sir, you know. I thought, oh my goodness, what's happened here? So that really was taking them into the heart, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah, it was really staggering.
It is.
Yeah.
It is staggering, yes.
And then, you know, and I was kind of shown what Mother does mean, not just on the intellectual basis where you think, well, I understand that, let's take them into... You know, there's all that kind of nonsense goes on in there, that you do it on an intellectual level, but this was a real level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't people generally find it happens quite a lot just